Hello, this is Morgan. My channel is Pisces Paperbacks, and I'm standing on my toes because my camera's a little higher than it usually is, and I don't want the shot to be like my nose up. Basically, I want to do a 24-hour New Year's readathon. I know there were people on Twitter talking about doing this on New Year's Eve. I had to work on New Year's Eve, so I wasn't able to participate. And this 24 hours of me from midnight into the first full day of 2020 is going to be my participation in that readathon. I'm just, in my heart, I'm going to believe that it's happening at the same time. That was a firework. I want to do a readathon, and I want to do a reading vlog, and I think this is a good way to start out the year with some variety, since I'm going to be posting a lot of best, worst list videos. And I love stuff like that, but it can definitely get a little repetitive. So that's what I'm gonna do. I have a couple books that I'm thinking about reading. I mean, one of them I'm definitely going to read. Two of them I definitely know I'm going to start in on, and one of them is Ninth House. I am doing a really fun book club with my friend Hannah at Read by Hannah, Read with Hannah, and I'll link it above. And basically, we are going to read Ninth House together, and it's really fun. I'm annotating it, I'm using sticky notes and writing notes, which I don't usually do because I find that very stressful. The only things I like to do that for are really bad books, because then I can, and not even physical books. I really only do this with ebooks because I don't like writing in books. I don't really like taking notes. And so if it's a really bad romance novel, then I can write down LOL, this is dumb, and stuff like that. But I wouldn't want to write like that in my books. I'm gonna wash my face now, so just excuse this. I've technically started Ninth House. I read the prologue and half of the first chapter, and I think the idea that I need to keep track of my thoughts to talk about this book intelligently is kind of stopping me from really getting invested in the book. I know I'm only 10 pages in, but still. So I am going to be trying to read that tonight. And then I also have the audiobook for Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware, which I am so excited about. That was the first thriller that I heard talked about this year where I was like, oh my god, I really need to read that one. What was I talking about? Oh, The Turn of the Key. So The Turning of the Key, or The Turning of the Screw, is a really classic gothic novel, and I really liked it when I read it, so I was super interested in reading this one. Now that I look insane, I'm going to put on some Waterford tea. I'm thinking about it, it is literally New Year's Eve. It's after 11 o'clock. We are less than an hour from the start of a new decade, and I'm oh, time to put on a face mask and get ready to drink some tea. And what? I'm 22 years old, but you know what? It's okay. Let's get started. Miss Madden here does not like the fireworks, but I have her all cozy, and I just brought her some toys, so maybe she'll distract herself. She's a good girl. She just gets a little nervous. I have my laptop here. I've been watching a shit ton of reading vlogs. I just subscribed to this girl Ariel Reads, and I've literally just been watching every single one of her videos on a playlist. So, oh, it's a good girl. I can't stop petting you. Happy New Year's. It's actually a little bit after 12, about 12:30. I've spent the last half hour calming Marcy down from the fireworks. She's really not a fan. This is the first New Year's where we've been by ourselves, and it's just a lot to deal with, and we live in a very populated area with a lot of, I guess, fireworks going off, so that's not been super fun. But I am going to start with Ninth House now and play some mood music. I can't listen to music that has words in it while I read. It just doesn't work, so I'm probably going to be listening to some music scores. I've been really into the new Little Women score lately, so let's get started. So it is now 1:25. I'm at page 56 in Ninth House, which is like at the end of the 3rd chapter. And basically, I had to wait a bit to start actually reading because a lot of fireworks were happening and my dog was just like not feeling it, and I wasn't about to like ignore her while she was freaking out, you know? But I'm actually getting really into this. I'm very interested to see where it's going to go. It follows the story of Galaxy, aka Alex Stern, and she can see ghosts. So she is selected to come to Yale and join this secret society, basically. And there are 8 houses that study magic, and she is invited to join the 9th house, which oversees the other 8 to make sure they're not abusing their power. And it's really interesting. This is my favorite type of like learning magic situation where magic is a thing that is like studied. Like you can devote yourself to studying it for like your whole life or something like that. And it's not just like an innate power, except for her ghost thing. But I love when stories have that aspect of study involved. I just think it's really fun. It makes me, believe that anybody could perform magic. And then another thing that is really cool about this is that between the chapters, I don't know if you can tell, but this page is bolded. Let me find a better one to show you. I made a note of it that I even really like this, but basically between certain sections, there are pages of excerpts from texts. So in that page that I just showed you, there's an excerpt from a history of one of there's an excerpt from Procedures and Protocols of the 9th House, and then also a diary from one of the former people who's a member of the society. And I just love when books have academic texts or important literature within the book that doesn't exist in our world, that is like created for this book, created for the world of the story. Another book that really did this well was Middle Game by Shauna McGuire. I read that earlier in 2019. Oh, I was gonna say earlier this year. It's not this year anymore, it's last year. Anyway, Middle Game also did that and I loved it. So I think it has something to do with the stuff being like informational. Like I learn more about the world by reading these. Hello, so it is now 2 in the morning, 2:15, and I got to page 92. It's the end of a chapter, and honestly I'm tired, so I'm going to go to sleep, call it for a night. But this was honestly a lot of progress. This is very fast paced, like it's a fast read but also slow going at the same time. I don't really know how to explain it. I'm reading it much faster than I was expecting to, especially considering I read about 11 pages in 3 days when I first tried to read it. So definitely into it, curious about what's going to happen, and I can't wait to keep reading tomorrow. Good morning, we're here and it's about 9:30. I slept for a little bit. I actually got up and gave Marcy breakfast and then fell back asleep. So, not the most quick start to the day, but it is New Year's, so I get to relax a little bit. And I'm gonna go make myself some breakfast, probably just a bowl of cereal, and I think start Atonement. Maybe not, I don't know. So I was reading and I look up. Why are you staring at me like that? Like, what are you looking at? Oh, she got embarrassed. She doesn't like cameras. Yikey. Hi. What's up, crew? I am actually reading this both faster and slower than I expected, in that I'm reading slower physically than I thought I would. So I read, I'm at page 162, about chapter 10, and that is only like 70 pages more than I got to last night, even though I was reading for like an hour and a half, which is like, I should be reading a little bit faster. So I think this book is just hard to get through, but at the same time, I was expecting it to be a lot slower because everybody on BookTube was like, this book sucks, it's so dense, nothing happens. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is actually really good. Like, I'm really liking it a lot. The description's really good, and the writing is I mean, gorgeous. I was gonna say I've never read a Leigh Bardugo book. The only other Leigh Bardugo book I've ever read was Six of Crows. It was one of the first books that I read this year, so like I didn't know that it was like this huge popular like series. Like I didn't know like that it was a thing. So it was very weird to go on BookTube and for everybody to be like freaking out over like Kaz and Inej and like Nina, because honestly I read it and I gave it 5 stars. Like I really liked it, but I in no way got like attached to the characters. Like I was like, it didn't really get that deep, I don't think. I don't know. Like I would not cry over that book, I don't think. So it was just kind of weird, and I'm very excited that this is the next Leigh Bardugo book I'm reading. It is beautifully written. I will definitely be finishing this. Hopefully, I don't think I'll be finishing this today with you, but I am hoping to finish it by Friday because today's Wednesday, and I like it. But I also need to do some errands. So I also just finished filming. I forgot to tell you. I filmed like a little video. But I need to go get groceries, honestly. I'm like completely out of food. So I'm going to go do that and listen to The Turn of the Key while I do that. Change of plans. My neighbor's car is blocking mine in. So I'm just gonna be outside with my dog, I guess. Come on. So I'm listening to Turn of the Key, and I'm like 26% through already. It's like a 12-hour audiobook, and I'm listening to it on double time, and I'm really liking it, but I got to a part, and I'm like so uncomfortable. But it's really cool. If you don't know what Turn of the Key is about, basically a nanny gets hired to help this family in the Scottish Highlands. Hello. It's like a smart house, very like a high tech, and basically the whole book is in letters written from some point in the future where she is in jail for murdering one of the children. And so she's writing these letters to some sort of lawyer, like telling like her true side of the story, just to like see what actually happened. Can I help you? No? Okay. And it's good so far. The writing's good. This is my second Ruth Ware book, and I'm enjoying it, but I am stressed. I'm a little stressed. Hello, it is now 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I am 40% through The Turn of the Key. I'm loving it. It's really setting up the atmosphere well. The book takes place in the Scottish Highlands, in the misty mountains on the moor, and it's just like, I don't know if you can have the mountains and the moor near each other. I think it's more like Highlands mountainy, but it's gorgeously written and described. Not like that much has happened yet. Like I said before, it's about a nanny taking this job with his family and kind of recounting her time there, and she just finished describing her first day of her job, and we're 40% through. So it's kind of a little bit slow going. Sorry, you're on my stove right now. So it's a little slow going, but I'm definitely not mad at it, and I'm a little hungry, so I am going to make some ramen and watch some YouTube videos while I do it, because I listen to my audiobooks on my phone, so I can't like film and listen at the same time. But oh, you can't see that at all. Yeah, I am definitely gonna watch Peruse Project, like Reagan. I'm obsessed with her. She's like my favorite. I took a couple months off watching YouTube videos, not on purpose, just like I got a new job and was like really, really busy, and like I was busy. So when I was like, oh, it's time to catch up with all like the 2 months of booktube that I missed, I basically just went to her channel and was like, okay, watch every video, play all, and I love her reading vlogs. Anyway, I'm gonna watch her unboxing and then read with Cindy. Just posted a video. She's another one of my faves. So yeah, very exciting, and I'm hungry. So I've just been eating candy. I like have this bag of Yorks that I've just been charging through all day, and I have Rolos in my room, and Reese's cups somewhere. I love impulse buys. I also want to show you, look at my salt and pepper shakers. Salt and peppers. Aren't they cute? Oh my god, they're like the best. My uncle and his girlfriend got them for me like a couple years ago, and I'm finally getting to use them now that I have my own place. I'm not about to put more salt on my ramen, but I do put pepper. Yes. Alrighty, we're done. I don't know if you can see, but that is my spinach, cheese, sriracha, eggy ramen, and it's delicious. So I fell asleep. I woke up at like 8, almost 8. After 7:30, I definitely did. So I slept for probably like 2.5 hours. Fortunately, I only have about 2 to 3, under 3 hours left of the audiobook for Turn of the Key. I have at this point temporarily abandoned, Ninth House, because I want to finish a book today. It's supposed to be like a readathon, and I filmed a video, so that was like 40 minutes done, and then I, fell asleep for like 2 hours, and I feel like I want to accomplish something, so I am going to dedicate myself to Turn of the Key. But in other good news, I got a notification from Libby, and I guess I had a hold on a book, and it lets you, if there's like suddenly a free copy, it'll let you skip the line. So I now have Red, White, and Royal Blue on audio, so I'm going to listen to that probably this upcoming weekend, and that is very exciting because everybody has been raving about that book for months, and I follow Casey McQuiston on Twitter, and they're just so funny, and I just want to read the book that they wrote. Not to mention that my brother actually read that book, and he's not really like up in the book internet the same way that I am. So if even he found out about that book and read it and really liked it, then like I know I need to do it. I actually have decided I want to make cookies. I want to make some double chocolate cookies. I have a recipe right here. And I meant to make some for the holidays and bring them into work, but completely forgot to bring them into my office like the last day before everybody started taking vacation for Christmas. So I'm going to make them now, and that'll be fun. So the cookies that I'm making are 1/2 cup of melted butter, 1/3 cup of white sugar, and 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1 large egg after you mix all the sugar and butter together. 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, and then 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and salt, and then slowly add 1.5 cups of flour. And then you're gonna add your chocolate chips. I have white chocolate chips right here from Nestle, and I'm gonna add about 1/2 the package. This is like a very weird cookie dough. It's like, you can't tell, but it's like very stiff. So I just wanna add these before I have trouble stirring it. And then you're gonna refrigerate it for like, it's supposed to be like 2 hours. I'm gonna refrigerate it for 1.5 hours maybe. I'm not that patient, so we'll see. Okay, so it is like, it's 11:30. I am not going to be able to finish the Turn of the Key before midnight, unfortunately. I have about 45 minutes left of the audiobook, and I am absolutely going to stay awake until I finish it because I don't know if I can go to sleep right now. Like, okay, I'm like creeped out. Like, I'm scared, bruh. Like, what is going on? And there was a twist that was revealed a little bit ago, and I was shook. This is my fuzzy pillow, by the way. I was shook. I don't know how to feel, and I just really need to know what's going to happen because like I'm freaked out. It's after midnight. It is 12:16. I just finished the audiobook. That was so good. The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. I'm gonna give it 5 stars. I loved it. I was shocked at all the twists, except I didn't like the very last chapter. It's kind of like an epilogue. For some reason, I feel like that kind of ruins a lot of the atmosphere of the book for me. I don't know if that makes sense, but do you ever read a book, especially since this is like, I was reading this and it's like kind of playing with kind of idea of this gothic house where you don't know what's true and what's real, and I was getting to the end and I was like, how are they going to explain it? Like what are we gonna get that's like kind of a hint towards the truth? And instead of doing what I wanted, which was, or what I was hoping it would do, which was just give you almost enough to get to the truth, but not quite enough to fully explain and kind of leave you wondering, like always questioning what happened. It over-explained it to me. I feel like the very last chapter gave us, instead of like just enough to be satisfying but leave you wondering, it was so much that other parts of the book weren't satisfyingly creepy anymore. So I'm definitely gonna have to think about that, but right off the bat, I'm thinking it's going to be 5 stars because what a book. I have The Woman in Cabin 10 right here, which I read last week, and I really liked it. And my friend who lent me this liked this one better than The Turn of the Key, but I definitely think I like The Turn of the Key better than The Woman in Cabin 10. Both are fantastically written, but I was extremely impressed by this one. Oh my god. I literally was like, I mean, I didn't cry, but I was like scared. I was scared. I was like tearing up out of fear. What the? Maybe I'm like I don't think I'm that like a scaredy cat, but anyway, it is after midnight and I still have to make my cookies. So I'm gonna do that and then go to bed, and maybe I will show you a quick clip of my cookies. Look at them, they're so cute. They're gonna be delicious. I'm very excited. Okay, so I'm going to call this vlog for the night. It has been 24 hours, and just to recap, I read about 70 pages of The Ninth House, which, like, honestly not great, but I ended up taking a nap, and that was really nice. And I'm really liking Ninth House so far. I think it's a really interesting concept, and I'm excited to see how it's going to go as we get further into the story, further into the mystery. I'd really like to know a little bit more about Darlington. I don't really feel like we've gotten to know him as well as Alex, even though, I mean, Alex is the main character. But I'm really digging the dual timeline situation. I think because the timelines are like so close together, like one takes place in the winter and one takes place just a few months later. So I don't know, I'm pretty into it. And then I read The Turn of the Key, which I don't even know how long that book is. It's probably like, I'd say about 350 pages about. I listened to that. It was a 12-hour audiobook that was incredible. Oh my god, that is a good book. It was like, I took a Gothic literature class in college. It was genuinely one of my favorite classes that I've ever taken. And I felt so much of the love that I developed for like the Gothic genre and Gothic writing like come back to me while I was reading this book, and I was so freaked out. I was like sitting on my couch, like hugging a pillow, petting my dog, watching calming videos on Instagram while I was listening to the audiobook, and it was great, even though I wasn't a huge fan of that last chapter, which I said a couple minutes ago. And my cookies are in the oven, and it's just a good night, and I'll hopefully be in bed before 1 o'clock, which is in like 20 minutes. That probably won't happen. All right, thank you so much for watching my 24 hours New Year's readathon thing that I've decided to do. I hope you had a nice time, and let me know if you've read either of these books, what you thought, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!